G'day guys, Corey Hind, I hope you're well. I want to talk to you today about reactivation. So obviously as I shoot this video, it's the COVID-19 time, crisis, whatever you want to call it. That will pass, and I think that it's important to remember that as we market our businesses, there's a whole bunch of people we've talked to before who would love to hear from us again. At the moment, I think we're all getting lots of emails from people which are kind of irrelevant and even asking for money for future services, etc., which doesn't resonate super well with me. I would rather you use what I call the reactivation program, which is just a way to reach out to people who've done business with you before, because we know that people will buy from us again if they've liked what we've done before. So give me a second, I'll just shoot over to the document I'm going to run through today with you, and I'm going to talk you through what do I mean by reactivation program. So this line here is really the nuts and bolts of it, guys. It's always easier to sell to people who already know, like, and trust you. Really important concept, because usually digital marketers like myself or yourself are looking for new leads and new business, blah, blah, blah. But have we really paid attention to the people out there who have done business with us before? They might have gone cold. Maybe they're past inquiries that we haven't followed up on, which is another part of the sales process you would need to revisit. But for reactivation, if I read out this one, it's a strategic campaign aimed at getting past customers to come back to us. Okay, so just think about all those people you've done business with before who you just haven't talked to for a while. It's not because you didn't want to or because you're a fool or anything. You've just been busy doing other things. But as I shoot this video, it's the COVID crisis and we've all got more time on our hands. So a reactivation campaign right now is probably a very good use of your time, because these people know who you are. I'll give you an example. We had a physio client last year who was getting their front desk to simply phone up past customers to offer what they called a warrant of fitness, which was a very short consultation, about a 15-minute or a 10-minute consultation, just to double check that the work they'd done before and the body was holding together. So it ended up being the same amount of money for the clinic per hour, because it was like, I think it was 15 minutes for $15 or something like that. But it worked really well because people could acknowledge that actually I did that process with the physio. It is a good idea to come back and talk to the physio again just to check that my body's still in good shape, etc. And that campaign worked really well. I was part of this one here, and it was really awesome. We spent some money on an online purchase, some sports gear, about a year ago, and some months later, so it was short enough so I remembered the business, but they were still relevant to me. They emailed me and said, account credited because we miss you. Now, you can bet your bottom dollar that, to me, account credited, I opened that email. So that's job one done. The email got opened by me, and I think that business, we spent about $50 with them the first time. They'd given me a $10 voucher to spend on something else. So I went back to their website, had a look around, and that's a really cool idea because they know I've done business with them before, therefore I am their ideal client. It makes perfect sense, right? We talk about your client avatar, who's your ideal person, can we find more of them? Go back to your database and farm what's already shopped with you. It works really well. The hardest part when I work with people with this idea is figuring out what to do in terms of the offer or the way to get them to pay attention. And we'll get to that in a second. So the summary point is, you need a reactivation plan. Okay, they're really effective. They just work. All right. So here are the steps that we need to do to make it work for you. So step number one, database. I hope you've got an email database. If you don't, then you need to figure that part out of your business because it's a really important part of marketing. But the first step is get to your email database. Okay. Thing two, what are you going to do? What are you going to offer them? Are you going to offer them a free safety check on the vehicle, a free coffee voucher, a $10 voucher, a warrant of fitness? What are you going to do? That seems to be the hardest step for most people. So when we talk to our clients in our marketing in a circle about this sort of stuff, we throw a few ideas around. Okay. Step three is, how are you going to talk to them? Phone, email, Facebook page. I'm not sure of the best way for you to reach your customers, but you need to decide. The physio clinic, I think they targeted 10 per week. That was a really cool idea. Obviously, the sporting goods business I was reached out to myself. they just hit the whole database, or maybe they had an email trigger at 3 months since last purchase, which is really smart. Okay, so how are you going to do it? Step 4 is to test it on a small run. This is really important because usually as marketers we think we've got the ideal idea or plan, but typically humans get in the way and break down our ideas and prove that we're actually wrong. So what we like to do is do a test run of 20 or 10. Do 2 versions and see which works best. Feel free to get in touch with me and run it past me. Once you've got your results of the most effective method, roll out the full version. Okay, so then roll it out, whether it's phone calling people, emailing your whole database, whatever. The bottom line is this: I'll bet you've got past customers who would actually like to hear from you. They like your business, they might have forgotten about you, but they'd love to hear from you. At this time of the year, when people are starting to wonder where the new leads are coming from, go back to the old people, give them something worthwhile. You might even want to give them a voucher to pass on to a friend as well. Okay, I really like this idea. Whenever I've seen people use it, it typically works. So I'd love to see you give it a go. I'd love to see your example, so feel free to contact me and let me know what you've done. And I hope you got some value from that. If you've got any questions, drop it below and we'll see if we can get to you and help you do it. Cheers guys, bye for now.